Welcome back, Fantasy Endgame family, Fantasy Endgame baseball players, getting you ready potentially for the fantasy baseball playoffs. I know a lot of leagues start their playoffs this week. Some starts their league not next week. That's this week, I guess. The week after, you know what I'm trying to say. But regardless, fantasy playoffs are either here or they're fast approaching. Maybe you're fighting for that last playoff spot. Maybe you're in the playoffs, about to start your playoffs. Either way, you got to make the right decisions this week. You got to take home that W. And one of the best, most advantageous ways you can do that is by streaming pitchers, and specifically streaming pitchers making two starts, potentially get a 2-for-1 from one pitcher. So as we always do on a Sunday, we're going to go over the top 2-star streamers for the week. And Pierre, let's start with a guy you had on the waiver wire video this week. I was disappointed to see. I think you had already picked him up. I noticed you do this, by the way. Like, you make your list of waiver wire, and then all of a sudden I see you like, Pierre added this guy, Pierre added this guy, and they go, oh, look, he's on the waiver wire video. Smart. But Reed Nelson of the Arizona Diamondbacks, he's actually been really good since the All-Star break. Has a 2.90 ERA, a 1.03 WHIP, still less than half rostered on Yahoo leagues, and then that means he's probably not even rostered on ESPN the way that site works. Get San Francisco first matchup of the week. You got to feel good about that. Does get Houston, which can be dangerous, but he's just pitching so well. I mean, I assume not only a good 2-star streamer, but just a guy that needs to be added.
Right. I mean, I feel like I have to talk about him, even though, it should go without saying if he's a waiver wire recommendation. Probably a pretty strong streamer, but again, it's not like everybody's picked up on this. I understand, first of all, the ownership rates or the roster rates, whatever you call it, they're not completely reflective of who's still active. I mean, honestly, I was going through the list for pitchers. Like Spencer Strider is still like 30% owned because obviously people who had him either for some reason, just held out hope that he was, I guess, going to pitch this year, or just didn't bother to drop him, or just, I don't know, just gave up after that. Okay, so I understand a lot of competitive leagues, he is going to be owned, but he should actually be owned, I'd say almost everywhere in a 12-team league, because you also have to think about it this way. Second half of the season, it's almost like a new season, because after the break, things change dramatically. So just look at what he's done in the second half of the season. It's up there. And I talked about this with the waiver wire, so I don't need to go too deep into it. His Sierra, which is, again, you don't just look at the ratios, the standard stats. You got to look at the advanced stats. His skilled independent ERA is top 10 out of all qualified starters, period. That's pretty good. So, I mean, you got to buy into him. And I know Houston on the road, not a great matchup, but still, he's been too good to ignore. I got to make him the top option.
All right, there you go. So if he's still out there, grab him. Even if you don't plan to start him both times this week, I mean, just grab him. Now, you did talk about the Twins on that waiver wire video, and you did kind of mention like you want all these guys going forward. You kind of briefly touched on David Festa. He wasn't on the waiver wire video. Now you got him as a 2-star streamer this week. Gets the Tampa Bay Rays, that's fantastic. Gets Oakland, that's fantastic. Look, since he's been recalled, 3.06 ERA, 43 strikeouts in 32 innings pitched, just coming off a nice 6-inning performance. I know you love this Twins rotation going forward because of the schedule. So, David Festa.
Well, let's say hopefully he does better than Zebby. I was all in on Zebby Matthews. He's someone talked about. And I see the comments did not see that coming. He had not had a bad start since being called up, and he had a great matchup. It was Toronto. But even bad teams have good days, right? We've seen the Marlins do this to many good pitchers, especially for some reason on a weekend. Oakland sometimes will put up runs in bunches. There really is no sure thing unless you're playing the White Sox. So yeah, that was a bad one. Festa, we have to take our chances because he's been better than Zebby. He's been up longer. He got more experience. Again, second half, since getting called back up, an ERA just over 3, but he's getting strikeouts in bunches. So at the very least, he's got that. With Zebby, really the calling card there is the command that he doesn't walk batters. He doesn't get into trouble unless he gives up a lot of hard hits, which he did. With Festa, at least he's definitely getting these strikeouts, but you cannot ignore this. Yes, David Festa, to some extent, deeper leagues, Simeon, Woods, Richardson, those guys, maybe even Zebby, if you're willing to do it again, at Tampa, at Oakland, you got to take your chances.
Yeah, got to take your chances there. And then another guy, I don't even know if it's taking a chance anymore, is Valdo Vito of the Athletics. He's been quietly good. I mean, he's got 56 innings pitched, 56 strikeouts, a 3.21 ERA, a 1.07 whip, 4 quality starts. His expected batting average is in the 99th, batting average against is in the 99th percentile. His expected ERA is in the 98th percentile. And now he gets the Mariners, who can't hit, and the Tigers, who can't hit. So, I mean, this guy's still less than half rostered out there. Just fire him up with confidence.
Yeah, I mean, you've got to think he's overachieving because there's no way that Osvaldo Vito winds up as the league leader in xERA. Not that that's a real thing, but expected stats, they do tell us a lot. 99th percentile in expected batting average and 98th in expected ERA. He'll have one of those starts. It will happen at some point where he gets lit up. I don't know if it's going to be this week because he gets Seattle and Detroit. So probably not. Again, don't be shocked if it happens, but I'll take my chances, right? I'd rather go with a guy who's pitching extremely well than somebody who's not. Just, I don't know, common sense to me. So I'll go with Vito. And like the A's, that they seem to be taking turns, right? It's like every week we have a different A's pitcher who suddenly is doing good out of nowhere, right? Remember it was JP Sears a couple weeks ago,
Yep.
And it was Joey Estes. It's like every week there's somebody new. Well, here we go. I guess it's Vito this week. Let's take a shot on him. The schedule is pretty good, and he at some point will have a bad start, but right now he is rolling.
All right, and now to our next guy. Angelo is riding with Brian Bello this week. I've rode with Brian Bello many times this season with mixed results. Feels like a very boom bust pitcher. Sometimes it's like, wow, that guy looks incredible. And then sometimes you're like, whoa, that guy looks like he shouldn't be on a major league ball club. So you know what you're getting here, right? It could be great, it could be bad, but he gets a great schedule this week. The Mets, that lineup shouldn't terrify you, and the White Sox, of course, is pretty much gold to stream against. So Bello, more risky, or you feel good about him because of the schedule this week?
I know for sure I should get one really good start. I mean, obviously the White Sox, it's like auto start. The Mets, who knows? It doesn't scare me off or really put me too much on him. He's a guy, like you said, you honestly don't know what you're getting. It's very possible he splits the difference here. We might have one good, one bad. His last start, he had 8 scoreless innings. And so you're looking at this as a guy who could be rolling. But before that, I give up 5 runs in 5 innings. And he's just been so up and down. Yeah. I mean, again, this is where you get to the risky part, right? We're looking for a streamer with 2 starts, potential for 2 good ones. I know I feel good about one in the bag with the White Sox. The Mets, again, it's not a sure thing, but I actually feel better that it's in Citi Field and not in Fenway because that's a much better park factor for him. So obviously risk, but he's got the talent. We'll see if he puts it together for back-to-back starts.
All right, now about a pitcher who maybe doesn't have the boom bust potential of Bello, but probably doesn't have the boom potential either because he's not a big strikeout guy. That's Andre Palante. Does have a 3.29 ERA, 1.24 whip since the All-Star break, but only 26 strikeouts in 41 innings. Not going to be a high strikeout pitcher, but he also seems to be a guy that never really gets like destroyed or crushed too often. Gets Milwaukee, which some days they're hot, some days they're not, and then gets the Mariners, which, I mean, are they ever going to get hot at any point? So I assume still a little risky here and maybe a little bit more of a floor than a ceiling play.
Exactly. And you look, he's been putting together some quality starts, which is nice. And again, you look at the second half stats, pretty good at 3.29 ERA, 1.24 whip. He's one that I always feel like the other shoe's going to drop at some point because he's been pretty solid. But if you dig deeper, again, those 41 innings since the All-Star break, 27 strikeouts, not that great, but 16 walks. That is not a good ratio of strikeouts to walks. That's why the whip is a little bit higher. So he knows how not to get hit too hard, but he's not really helping you in strikeouts. And I don't know, it's just it's definitely a risk here. So a floor play, sure, he could possibly get you one, maybe two quality starts. The Seattle matchup is definitely a good one. The Milwaukee one has some risk. So again, if you're looking for someone who's been delivering, very different from Beto, right? Beto has been great in terms of how he's performed. Palante hasn't, but he's kind of gotten a little bit lucky, to be honest. So he could keep it going. We'll see.
All right, now for a pitcher who I feel like has been solid mostly this year, and you look at Andrew Heaney in his last 4 starts, he's given up 5 hits in each of those, but only 6 total walks in those 4 starts. So you know the command is there. The issue here is, well, there's 2 issues. Number one, he barely even goes 5 innings. So if you're in a quality start league, and even I guess in a wins league, like you're really asking for a lot for a win or a quality start. But also his first start this week is against the Yankees, which is kind of the opposite of the White Sox when it comes to streaming. But then he does get the Angels, so yeah, I know we're getting down to the bottom of the barrel here. If you're picking up Andrew Heaney this week, are you starting him for both starts, or are you saving him just for that Angel game?
Might just go for the second one. And that's a great point that, look, you can pick up a guy as a streamer, even if he has 2 starts, assuming that you can set your lineup daily as opposed to weekly. But if that's true, you don't have to start him both times. You can just pick up somebody for 1 start if your league allows that. But what's interesting about Haney is that he wasn't supposed to be a 2-start streamer for this week. He originally would have started today against Oakland, which would have been a much, much, much better matchup, right? He would have got the A's and then the Angels instead of the Yankees and the Angels. But because one of their games got delayed and pushed back, his start got pushed back. And so the schedule got messed up. So instead of starting Sunday, he's starting Monday. So he's much less appealing than he would have been. I don't know why he's not going deep into games, because he does not walk many batters. That's the good thing about him. His last 4 starts, a total of 6 walks, and he's allowed exactly 5 hits in each of the last 4 starts. So that looks really good. But the problem is he gets pulled after 5 max. And you just got to wonder if this is the Rangers, kind of being out of it, veteran pitcher, had a lot of injuries in his career, if they're just limiting his innings at this point. So that limits his upside, obviously. Wins quality starts might be tough to go and get, but that start against the Angels alone might make it worth it.
All right, and now let's finish up with the no risk it, no biscuit, Tyler Phillips of the Phillies. First of all, let's talk about the good here. He's got a great schedule this week at Toronto. I know Zebby just got rocked by Toronto, but come on, this lineup doesn't scare me. And then, sorry, your Marlins. That's a free square, basically. But when you look at Tyler Phillips this year, it's been almost like the tale of 2 halves, except instead of 2 halves, it's been 2 months, because he's only pitched in July and August. He's getting recalled, supposed to pitch on Tuesday. In July, 3 of his 4 starts went 6 or more innings in 3 of them. Gave up 1 earned run or 0 earned runs in 3 of them. Had a complete game shutout of the Cleveland Guardians. Then in August, gave up 8 runs to the mighty Mariners lineup, 5 runs to the mighty Marlins lineup, somehow held the Dodgers to 4 runs, but basically was not very good in August. Now he's getting recalled. Again, the schedule is great. Here we go. Tyler Phillips, how deep we going?
Oh, this is pretty deep. I mean, you really don't want to go there, but I get it. You need a boost. You're in a very deep league. Sometimes you need to. Hey, there is some upside here. It's funny because after that 1 start against Cleveland, he pitched a complete game shutout. Everyone was all over him. And of course, everyone was punished viciously for that, because to say he was not very good is an understatement. He got pounded 3 times in a row. So let's see. I mean, honestly, if the schedule was any different, I wouldn't even think about this, but it is Toronto and Miami. He does have, some good stuff. He's just got to really, really focus on sinking that sinker. He's got to really get that command going. He's not going to induce a lot of whiffs. So that's the thing. Upside in terms of strikeouts is limited, but he does play for Phillies, and that's a good chance for a win. So risk, yes, but there's upside. Otherwise, we wouldn't be talking about him.
That's right. Sometimes you got to take that risk. So we'll see what he does this week. All right, but you're not here to hear us just talk about two-star streamers. There's obviously more two-star streamers, so if you have questions about any of them that you're thinking about rolling out this week or in your league, let us know, or any other questions at all. That's why we're here. First, let me remind you, and let me bring this up as well. Right there. If you haven't tried Underdog Fantasy, there's still time. Of course, the baseball season is rolling along. You still have picks for tonight. You got Atlanta at Philly. If you want to get your MLB picks in, you can do that right there. And of course, NFL is coming. NFL picks for week 1 already on the board. So that's exciting. I'm sure a lot of you, I know Anthony, who's on here right now, also plays fantasy football. So if you want to get your NFL picks in, and you can see right here, if you're signing up to Underdog for the first time and you use promo code ENDGAME, you're going to get this free pick, this new customer special. Travis Kelce just needs to get a yard. He gets a yard, you win that pick. You can pair it with any baseball pick, any football pick, any pick from any sport. They have all sorts of crazy stuff. They have like esports on there if you're into that. But you pair this Travis Kelce pick with any pick you want. Easy win right there. Right away, you can triple your entry. Just make sure, as you see scrolling down below us, when you join Underdog for the first time, use promo code ENDGAME when you sign up, because not only is that going to get you that Travis Kelce free pick, but you're also going to get a bonus up to $1,000 in bonus cash, a 50% deposit match up to $1,000. And that's bonus cash you can use right away to start making picks. So if you're on the fence or you're getting excited about football and you haven't tried it yet, keep hearing us talk about it. This is your chance. Go try it out. Use promo code ENDGAME. All right, but we are here to answer your questions. And as always, got to let you know, if you want to drop that super chat like Anthony did, because you don't want to wait, you're impatient, you want to get to the front of the line, or you just want to say thanks for the hard work, or I don't know, you just got money burning a hole in your pocket, whatever it is, feel free to drop that super chat. So let's start with Anthony. What's up, Anthony? Asking Pierre, don't you have speaking of football, don't you have a football draft after this?
You know it. And he's got, what do you have? Pick 7. All right. Not too bad. And I am pick 8. Are we going to be back to back? Are we sniping each other? Is that what's going on here?
All right.
Yeah. Look, football season is here. I mean, now we can say it's here. We're having a couple days before actual action that counts. I know not everybody who plays fantasy baseball or just watches baseball watches football, and vice versa. But why not? Like, good look. Why not try it out? Maybe you'll like it. You don't have to love it. You can still be a baseball fan. It could be your first. Baseball is still really my first love. It's the first sport I really got into and followed. But football is the first sport I ever played for fantasy. It's okay. You don't have to pick a side. You can love them both.
That's right.
So anyways, check it out if you want to. Real live draft. This is not a mock. This is a real draft for all the high stakes. And I'm not talking money. I'm talking pride.
That's right. More important than money.
More important.
So yes, Anthony, here we are streaming right before he streams his football draft coming up with you in it. So good luck, Anthony. All right, let's get to the chats. Harry wants to know, or I guess he already knows that you were enjoying Jordan Walker today. Is that true?
Yes, I would enjoy more if I had him in more leagues. I do have him stashed, not starting, in a couple of leagues. I did manage somehow to pick him up. He was still available in an NL only league, which is borderline shocking to me. Chris, in our league, I wish I could pick him up if I didn't already use all my pickups for this week. So that's the problem on Sunday is, sometimes it's too late. But yes, this should be the start of something. Honestly, this could be, I'm not saying it is. This could be one of those late season waiver wire pickups that helps you down the stretch and carries you. It happens all the time. I know it's late, it's already September 1st, but you never know. This guy just needs to put together 2-3 good weeks. We've seen all sorts of random players put together 2 weeks where they are scorching. David Fry had a month where he was like the best hitter in baseball. Yes. It happens. Jordan Walker has the upside. He could be that guy. So you take a chance on it. Take a shot.
Well, it's funny. He went 5 for 5 today with 4 runs, 3 RBIs, and a home run and a stolen base. I mean, he gave you literally everything.
Everything.
And his batting average is now at 195. So.
let's just ignore that. Let's just look. What has he done lately? Well, not much because he's only been up for 3 games, but still.
Right. Well, if you count lately as today, he's done a lot.
Exactly.
All right. Eric wants to know about Alex Cobb. Does he have 2? Is he getting 2 starts this week?
No, he got a start today, and
Oh, okay.
he was really good today. So that's the only thing. You go pick him up. You're gonna have to wait a few days to use him again. Hey, I had recommended Alex Cobb way back when he first got activated. We knew it might take some time to shake the rust off. So he did look rusty, and then he got hurt. But look, again, this guy, we know what he can do. He can deliver quality starts for you. You could definitely get some wins now that he's in Cleveland. So I think he's worth an ad.
All right. There you go. Go pick him up. Bless you. All right. Back-to-back Nate. What is up? Wants to know, are you dropping Francisco Alvarez? He can pick up Wells at catcher, Austin Wells.
These guys are pretty similar. That's the thing with Wells, and I had picked him up. He was playing a lot, but now that Trevino's back, he's sitting against lefties. Alvarez will sit sometimes too. So, pretty similar. I'd go with a guy in the better lineup, which is Wells. And it's more of a strong side platoon. So, yeah, I think you can pick up Wells.
All right. Go pick up Wells. And then he's got another one. He wants to add another reliever for saves during the playoffs. Any waiver wire closers you'd recommend? Justin Martinez or Anthony, etc.
I've talked about a few. You're looking strictly for saves. I don't think I can trust Martinez or anybody on that team because who knows, right? It's really like a revolving door. Sir Anthony, maybe. I know there's certain closers you just don't want to and can't trust, and maybe the team doesn't want to trust down the stretch, like Craig Kimbrell. I did talk about Calvin Foucher of the Marlins. He's not getting a ton of saves, but he at least is the guy technically for now. So that's an option. Again, we're looking at players. You're talking about adding. Who's an actual closer who's going to be available widely on waivers? Not too many. So I doubt maybe Chad Green is available. It's possible, but I doubt it. He's not rostered in all Yahoo leagues, but again, those aren't always accurate. I think Sir Anthony is probably a strong one. Urseg and KC, although he's kind of banged up right now, he has been really good. If he's available, you could get him. Get Foucher's another one. Those are probably the realistic options.
All right, there you go. Some good options for you there. All right, Joseph is wondering, will the Cardinals call up Tink Hence? Is that his name, Tink Hence? Or a guy I know you talked about, Quinn Matthews. You think either of these guys are getting a call? His real name is Tink Hence. Tink.
It is. Tink.
Somebody named their son Tink.
I don't know if that's his given name.
Or is that a nickname? It's got to be a nickname, right?
I don't know. Well, now I'm going to look it up because I'm curious. Okay, so a couple things. I did talk about Quinn Matthews. He's who they should call up. I'm looking up. Okay, well, maybe this is why he goes by Tink. His full name is Markevian. Hence Tink must be a nickname, but he goes. That's what's listed in Baseball Reference. It says Tink Hence.
Yeah, it does, but that makes more sense. Okay, it's baseball. You had guys named like Cap and
Babe.
Butch.
Arky. I just read. I'm reading, by the way. I've not finished this book, The Baseball 100. There's a guy back in the day named Arky Vaughn because his real name was something like Mason or something, but because he was born in Arkansas, they just called him Arky.
Okay.
That's it. That was why. And he was born in Arkansas and he moved to California when he was 7 months old. So he lived in Arkansas for months, but his nickname was Arky because why not? I actually had been stashing Tink Hence in an Ottoneu league in Fangraphs half of the year, and then I finally dropped him because it didn't look like he was going to get called up real soon. He's a very interesting pitcher who has some upside. Quinn Matthews has been better in the minors. I really think, and this is why I've talked about Quinn and not Tink, I do think that Quinn Matthews is the logical call-up. Do I think they will? I don't know. I can't say. It's 50-50 with the Cardinals. They're really weird about their farm system. They really are just, jerk these guys back and forth, up and down. They're not very good at developing their prospects. I think Matthews is the one that might get the call. I'm 50-50 on him. Hence, I say maybe 30-70.
All right. There you go. Good question, by the way. All right. Uwe 2K has a bye. That's always nice, but needs to cut one for pitching. Elio Ramos, Jake Berger, Aubrey Rushman, Johonski Noel, however you pronounce the name, or Jake Berger again. Can you just drop one of the burgers?
If you somehow have him twice, you cannot drop Rushman. I know he hasn't been as good in the second half, but even if you, for some reason, aren't using him at catcher, which I don't know who you would be using, but you can't drop him. Berger has cooled off predictably. He's not mashing home runs, like he was. He's still got some upside though. I hate to drop him right now. I mean, this is tough between these guys. Heliot has been really solid. I don't know if your position matters. I kind of like keeping Noel because he gives you more flexibility in the sense that he qualifies at first, third, and outfielder. So I like that. So I would say I'd probably keep him, and he's been hitting just as well as Berger lately. This is a tough one. I guess I would say probably would drop Heliot.
All right, there you go. And then back-to-back Nate again. It looks like Kyle Tucker is actually coming back. Astros GM Dana Brown says Sunday that Tucker could be activated from the 60-day injured list and potentially play maybe Wednesday or Thursday in Cincinnati. So what are you expecting from him? And do you immediately put him right back in your lineup?
I think you have to. I mean, it's been long enough, right? If he's good to go, they think he's ready to play, then I think you got to play him, unless your outfield is so loaded, there's really not a big drop off. But for the most part, I think you just put him back in there and see what he gives you.
Yeah. Still till today. Somebody dropped him in our league thinking he thought he was never coming back. Too low on the waiver priority, did not get him. All right, Louis 2K wants to know what your thoughts on Ortiz, Euler, Boyd, and we did talk about Brian Bello a little bit in Savale.
All right, let's see. We already talked about Bello, I think, a fair amount. Risky, but he gets 2 starts. I mean, he gets the White Sox. So if you don't have to throw him out there for 2 starts. If you want to pick him up just for that White Sox start, that's a smart one. Savale still doesn't interest me. Sorry. Boyd does. I was very skeptical. I really need to see it before I believe it with him. I did pick him up in one league. He gave me a quality start. He's always had good stuff. He can induce whiffs. Just can't stay healthy, and he can't stay good for a long period of time. But hey, he's in a good position now. So I think Boyd is really the most interesting one here on this list. Yeah, the others just all kind of risky streamer types. Like I said, Bello for that 1 start, but I think Boyd is the one, if you're really looking for somebody beyond the week, that I would buy into.
All right, there you go. And we're already caught up. You're already caught up on questions. That was fast. If anybody has any more. All right, here we go. So Anthony wants to know, is Ozzy Albies still coming back in mid-September, or do they just wait for the play? Are they even making the play? Are the Braves going to make the playoffs?
I was going to say that's a big assumption here. Well, right now the Braves are second in the division. I don't think they catch the Phillies. They're 6 games behind. It's tight. I mean, we still have plenty of time to go. They could make a wild card, but it's not guaranteed. I'll just say this with Albies, I'm not worried about stashing him because even if he comes back in mid-September, which I don't know, but even if he does, I'm not going to risk it. That he's going to just all of a sudden be what is 100% for him anyways. Let's think about his season up until he did get injured. He was pretty disappointing, honestly. He was one of my biggest busts, I would say, a guy who I thought was clearly worth a 2nd-round pick. and just didn't live up to expectations, I'm not going to worry about it, honestly. Like, I mean, if you're really struggling at second, if you're not thrilled with whoever you got, and you're sure maybe, but I'm not going to worry about stashing him.
All right, there you go. Yeah, he was a lot of busts this year. Always busted in fantasy. Always. You think, right? Like right now, of course, like a lot of fantasy football drafts going on. You think, man, like you got him, that's great. You got him, that's great. And then we're gonna look back and be like, oh, what a bust. It just happens. Just happens.
It's gonna happen, and not even because of injury. Just guys just won't cut it. That's just the way it is. And it's just funny because the thing that you think is the most sure thing winds up being something that doesn't happen. Like, if there's an offense you didn't have to worry about going this year, it was the Braves, right? Last year, record setting, like the best lineup in the world. You didn't even have to question. Some years you're like, oh, who's number one? Remember a couple of years ago, we're like, who should be the number one pick? You don't even have to, like, it was insulting to ask that this year. Like, okay, like who's after Ronald Acuna, right? You don't even think about it. To question it is insanity. And then what happened if you took Ronald Acuna? You're kicking yourself. Now, you can't predict injuries, obviously,
Right.
but still, he wasn't having nearly the same season either before he got hurt. So, people don't want to admit that. Sometimes, this is what I said. I will say this. I don't know. I guess you can call this sort of a victory lap. I did say I'm not drafting Matt Olson because you know what happened last year? He had for sure his career year. Like, when a guy has his career year, like there's no way he's doing that again.
Right.
Okay. So if he had his career year and he's being drafted right after his career year, he's being drafted too high, right? I mean, you just know it. So why would I get a guy after his career year? Wouldn't you rather have the guy coming possibly into his career year? Anyways, more Braves rant.
All right, we got some more questions. Back to back. Nate needs to know, needs to drop one. Who would you drop? You kind of talked about this, but he's got some different guys in here. Berger, Ramos, Caminero, Harris, or Churio?
Well, I hate to give Ramos the axe again, but I think it's him. Caminero is starting to come on. The power is showing up. This is a good time to keep him. Obviously already discussed between him and Berger. It's close, but I think I would cut Ramos because the others can get you some speed. Ramos isn't really a base stealer, so yeah, I think it's him.
All right, then Uwe2K wants to know, like, are any of these guys droppable, basically? Zebby Matthews, Jared Jones, or Ranger Suarez?
Well, Jared Jones. Okay, well, let's start with Zebby. I don't want to give up on him after this one bad start. He had a bad start. I think he should be able to bounce back. I get if you don't want to roll with him, that's fine. So he's definitely not someone you have to hold on to by any means. But if you're looking for a streamer, the schedule is still great. That still holds true. Now, I might prefer Festa right now to Zebby, but I think he still can deliver, the goods. Now, Jared Jones, expected rust. That's why I had said pretty much immediately after he got injured, actually even before he landed on the IL, is I think you can sell high. And then after he did go on the IL, I said you can drop him. Because when he comes back, he's probably going to be on a pitch count. He's going to be rusty. This is what we saw on his last start. You can try him again, but just know the risks. So I am going to say Jared Jones is droppable, right? Both of these guys are droppable. Not must drop, but also not must hold. Ranger Suarez, I would have more patience with because obviously he's been there, done that. He's just rusty coming off that extended absence. So, I mean, if you find somebody with more upside, sure, but I wouldn't drop Suarez.
All right, there you go. And then Alberto has a question. So Tatis potentially coming back. He's going to need to drop one of these guys when he does. Luis Robert Jr., Connor Norby, Brandon Lowe, or Heliot Ramos. Is it Ramos again, or are you picking somebody else here?
Yeah, it might be Ramos again. Norby's been really good. he's somebody, again, when he's hot, you want to keep him in there, and we know he's going to play every day. He's got power. I would say keep the hot bat there. Low, you have Low. He's still been good, right? He's been delivering, at least for the most part, good enough.
Yeah, good enough.
I think if you're going to just do a 1-to-1 replacement, I guess you can drop Robert Jr. or you can do Ramos. Robert heated up for a while. Now he's cooling off again. You don't have to deal with the headache. Where's the power? That's the thing. Where's the power? I would just drop Luis Robert Jr.
All right. And then Timmy Tam wants to know, is Kettle Marte coming back at all?
He should be. I mean, I haven't heard anything about him being out long term. This is more kind of like a nagging injury that they finally had to put him on the shelf for. I've seen it's a high ankle sprain that can take a while. So I don't know exactly. There's not an exact timetable, but it sounds like he could come back in a week or so. So he should be back for sure.
All right. Then Mike asking, are you worried about Mason Miller for the playoffs? Assuming means fantasy playoffs.
Not too worried about Miller specifically. I mean, he's somebody who obviously isn't doing exactly what he did way back in the beginning of the season, but I think you got to just stick with him. I mean, the talent's still there. He's going to be inconsistent. That happens sometimes. I mean, just because he hasn't been as dominant as he was, I think you can still stick with him.
All right. And then speaking of who should be number one, let's look ahead at next year. Back-to-back Nate wants to know, who do you think will be the number one pick in fantasy baseball next year?
Well, I know the tempting answer is Aaron Judge because he's getting all the publicity, but really it should be Shohei Ohtani. I mean, because this guy steals bases as well. It probably should just be Ohtani. I don't even see how it would be anybody else.
Yeah, I look. If I have the number one pick, I'm taking Ohtani. I mean, yeah, the guy gives you everything.
Everything. I know it's not going to be a pitcher. I know that for sure. But yeah,
and
I
also,
think it's got to be Ohtani.
I was shocked to learn the other day that Aaron Judge is 32 years old. I feel like this guy was a rookie like 2 years ago.
I know. Well, he didn't come up super young when he finally made the majors. But yeah, he's been around a few years. I know, though. It's crazy. It creeps up on you. I will tell you, the young player, maybe who could go number one, you could definitely make an argument for Bobby Witt Jr. But I'm thinking just the name, the star power, Ohtani. I mean, he's in that Dodgers lineup. Yeah.
Yeah. Like, I know it's crazy to say right now. People will be like, you're crazy. 33 years old next year. I mean, you never know. You never know when that cliff is coming. You never know when that cliff is coming.
Well, and this is the one reason I did say, like, full transparency, you can go back, check the videos. I wasn't taking Aaron Judge with a first-round pick this year because, he's been dealing with injuries a lot over the last few years. You don't want your first-round pick to be a bust. Well, it turns out Ronald Acuna Jr. was the one who was a bust, and he got injured. Aaron Judge has kept it together, obviously in pace for maybe his best season. He was a great pick. There are a lot of picks that weren't great picks. Guys who almost never get hurt. Mookie Betts missed an extended time. I mean, you never know, right? You never know. So
yeah,
it's a double-edged sword, right? You want to make sure that you have the guy who has that massive upside, but you don't want your first-round pick to be a bust either.
Yeah, if only we could see the future.
Yeah.
All right. A different Alberto. What's up, Alberto? Alberto Fadul. Okay, here's a couple names I haven't heard from in a while. How good are you feeling about Washington National pitchers Patrick Corbin and Mackenzie Gore? Man, I remember when I picked up Mackenzie Gore, I thought, man, I got it. I got a league-winning pitcher off the waiver wire. What happened to the guy? Has he turned it around at all? I haven't even heard anything about him. Like, is he still awful?
Not awful. He was awful in July and really not too good in June. He's been less awful, but also not that great. So Gore, like maybe Patrick Corbin. I mean, honestly, I saw he does have 2 starts this week and against the Marlins. I don't care. I will never even think about starting Patrick Corbin. Patrick Corbin, I don't know what he did. They must really love him there for them to just keep rolling him out every 5 days, for him to just be a mainstay in that rotation. He is the definition of an innings eater who is just there just to spare the bullpen and just so they don't have to think about calling up another pitcher. I don't know. It's a hard note of Corbin. It's risky. Gore is risky. I don't know. He's worn out. He was so good early in the season, and he just has fallen off. So I'd rather take a chance on one of the other guys I talked about at the beginning.
All right, so that was Alberto F. Alberto A says, okay, then for Marte's return, would you then drop Norby or Brandon Lowe?
Who to drop? I don't know how Lowe has Lowe been okay lately. I don't know. I feel like
he's been all right. He's one of those guys at second base, I either have him or Jake Cronenworth, so I just leave him in my lineup because I'm like, well, he's got more power upside than Cronenworth, but he's been okay.
Not really hitting a ton of home runs lately.
No.
I mean, these are both bad lineups, right? It's the Rays and the Marlins are both pretty much equally bad. I'd say right now, I know Norby's been hot. He's been the hotter player. I would probably just stick with Norby while he's hitting. Pretty comparable, though. So I guess if I had to pick, I would keep Norby.
All right, there you go. And then going back to the number one question, are any concern next year with Shohei Ohtani also pitching that maybe he doesn't run as much?
That's right. We should see him back to pitching. No, this wasn't an issue. It's not like he never ran when he was pitching. He doesn't care. He will do whatever he is physically capable of doing. So, no, I wouldn't even take that as a concern. I mean, even if you do take away most of his steals, this guy will still be among the league leaders in batting average and home runs and runs and everything. So, no, I wouldn't even make that a consideration.
Is he going to get 50-50? He's going to reach 50-50. What do you think?
No. Well, he won't do that. But
you only need 6 more home runs, 7 more steals.
Oh, you're talking about this year. I thought you were
this
saying
year. Yeah, no, not this year. He's not going 50-50 back to back. Wow. It's not get crazy here.
You never know. He might. I mean, we got a month left. God, it's insane. Honestly, just look. If you're not sure, look at Ohtani's StatCast page. It's just pure red. Every single category except for whiff rate, but still, I mean, this guy's just a monster. Yeah, I think it's got to be Ohtani.
The thing that makes me probably lean Ohtani, and I'm far from a fantasy baseball expert, so take this with a grain of salt. Like when you look at a guy like Aaron Judge, okay, discount the age part, but remember 3 years ago when he hit 62 home runs, and in the last couple of years, yeah, he's been good, but not anything close to that. Now he's potentially doing it again. Chances he does it again next year, probably not high, right? Probably sure, he might still give you 40, maybe 50, which is great, but probably not going to reach this level. But you look at Ohtani, even going back to the Angels, I mean, this guy, right, even with the Angels, was stealing 20-plus bases, 46 home runs, 34 home runs, 44 home runs, 44 home runs. I mean, he basically has been the same player for 4 years in a row. Like, it's not like he's just having this one great, he's having a great season, but it's not like he's just having this, oh my gosh, this season is so otherworldly compared. No, he's been great for 4 years in a row. So,
right. This is not an outlier by any means. Now, the thing that could change is the steal. Like you said, 50 again. You never know. That's just something that comes and goes. And it's not like, oh, well, now that I got a pitch, I'm not going to steal. But he had never stolen this much before anyways. I don't think it was just a matter of the pitching, but there's a lot of considerations here.
Yeah. So, well, we'll see. It's going to be a long way still till draft start. Actually, really not that long because, when do baseball drafts start? April? No, March. It's not even that long. It's not even that long. So, all right, we are once again caught up on all the questions and the chats. About 45 minutes in. Appreciate everybody still being on here, hanging in there, going for those championships. So don't give up, don't quit, don't take it easy. Keep watching the videos. We got videos still coming out all week long. And of course, we will still be here on Sunday. Well, no, I think this is the last Sunday, actually. Is this the last Sunday? I think this is it.
Football is here. Unfortunately, that takes a lot of time away. So we won't be doing the live streams, but videos will still be out for the next couple of weeks. So good luck to everybody. And again, you can always throw questions if you're in the Discord. Join the Discord, put questions in there. I know, but all good things must come to an end. Season is winding down, guys. The videos will still be coming out, though, so don't worry.
Yeah, in fact, let me get you guys, because we do have a dedicated baseball channel that Pierre is pretty active in on the Discord. So there you go. I just posted the Discord. I'm going to post the Discord link. And yeah, we're still making videos. I just posted the Discord link. Discord is completely free. Get in our Discord. We have a dedicated channel just for fantasy baseball. So you can still ask your questions in there. And I see every now and then I go in there and I see Pierre answering questions. So
And even if you don't have questions, drop in there and tell us how you did in your playoffs. I'm curious. I want to see how many champions we got here.
The problem is, the real issue here is that fantasy baseball is still going. Why is this still going? Why is fantasy baseball still going? What is happening here?
We got a month
play
left.
2 fantasy football seasons in 1 fantasy baseball season.
Yeah, look, if you're in a roto league, you go to the bitter end. The playoffs and head-to-head, that doesn't exist. That's usually what I wind up doing. Roto league, we're going all the way till the final day.
Like till the World Series, or like the final day of the regular season?
No, the final day of the regular season.
All right. Yeah. All right. Well, we appreciate you guys helping to grow the channel and make this something we can do every Sunday and more earlier in the season every Wednesday and do the videos. We will continue to do the videos, of course, and we will continue to do videos throughout the offseason to get you ready for next year's drafts. And like I said, if you want to have questions answered, hop in the Discord. It's totally free. We got a dedicated baseball channel. You don't even have to like Uwe2K says baseball is awesome. Like if you don't care about football, totally fair. You don't have to check out any of the other channels. Just go into the baseball channel, ignore all the rest. You can even mute all the other channels so you don't even know they exist. So check out the Discord, get your questions answered in there. Little bittersweet that we're not going to be doing these lives anymore, but look, there's football games all day Sunday, and yeah, it's just too busy now. But we will be back. Don't worry, and the videos will still be here. You can still watch Pierre every week, 3 times a week, plus more when we get into the off season probably. So thank you, everybody. Good luck in your fantasy playoffs, or if you're in your roto leagues, good luck, I guess, the rest of the season. Keep watching those videos. And, of course, again, reminder, if you haven't tried Underdog and you want to try those baseball picks or even football picks, take advantage of that Travis Kelce new customer special. Just sign up using promo code ENDGAME and get that deposit match, 50% of your deposit match up to $1,000. So good luck the rest of the way, guys. We'll see you, I guess, back here in the off season. Have a good rest of your weekend.